There we go.
That's a life of a fisherman you wouldn't understand. Something you can't feel on dry land. Gotta get your arms way up in a cage and set the hook on smallmouth bass, and then you'll understand. Gotta get your hands on a Shimano reel and a G-Loom that's trying to bet you like what you feel. Step on a deck, give it the world. Hello, welcome to my world.
What's going on, all you Facebook Live and YouTube Live fishing freaks? What's going on tonight? We got a special episode tonight talking to one of the newest crowned Bassmaster Elite Series anglers. He can officially check that off his list. Matt Messer. We're going to have him on in just a second. If you don't care to share this out, lie to people, say, man, this is the best fishing show I've ever seen in my life. You should check them out. It's all good. But again, going to talk some fishing with Matt Messer. We've had him on the show previously when he made the Classic last year. So he's really no stranger to big stage, big dreams.
Like our show.
Yeah, I mean, the Bassmaster Classic kind of prepared him for the On Another Line podcast.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a little step up, but you know.
Anywho, again, we're gonna be talking some fishing. We're gonna be asking some questions. We'll bring Matt on in just a second, and we'll get to talking fishing. So let's bring Matt Messer. What's up, buddy? How we doing?
How's it going? Doing good.
Can't complain, man. Nobody listens anyway. What's up, Gary Timberlake? How you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining this evening. I said it earlier, and JR did too, but I'd like to be one of the 3,000th people to congratulate you to be, fishing what everybody dreams of fishing. And I think that's the Bassmaster Elite Series. And there's been so much talk about the Major League Fishing Pro Tour, and you have the MPFL, but the BASS, the Bassmaster Elite Series is the upper echelon, in my opinion. If I could choose, and you can't water it down as choosing. If I had the opportunity to qualify for one of those, I think the Bassmaster Elite Series would be it, because I think the Bassmaster Classic is second to none. I don't, so you've kind of already stepped into that role by winning one, an event last year and qualifying for the Classic. How do you feel like the Classic making that appearance last year? How does that kind of prepare you for next year?
It helps a lot. For one, the bass fishing's always been a dream. Always make the Elite Series, make the Classic. But once I made it one time, it made the dream. Fueled it way stronger. That's all I wanted to do is just try to get back. But I feel like it helps a lot because last time I qualified, it was there was so much excitement and everything. I kind of let it get in the way of. I was out there fishing, and I was just in awe the whole time that I was even at the Bassmaster Classic. So excited this time to hopefully have had the excitement out of the way a little bit and just go down and fish.
Yeah. So I'm ignorant now. So since you qualified for the Elite Series, do you automatically get a berth into the Classic this year?
No, it's top 40 in the points every year in the Elite Fish Classic. So I won't get to fish one. I've already missed every opportunity to qualify, but.
So next year you got to finish in the top 40. That's what I thought. Yeah. That's crazy. I've been to a Bassmaster Classic in the seat, in the spectator seats, and it's pretty crazy seeing it on that side of things. I can't imagine being on the angler side of things. First off, guys, let's get this out of the way. We're not going to be asking any questions that could potentially come up on a lie detector test. They're getting very strict about that stuff, and I know that we're way before the season starts, but if you guys have a question for him that is on that gray area, we're not going to ask it. So just to keep him because I've seen so many people get hammered with those things lately, and I think they're worth the time. I feel like that if I was fishing for a lot of money, I'd want somebody to give me a lie detector test as well as everybody else. But I feel like there's some error that happens there too. But just to keep everything on the up and up, we're not going to be talking about spots or how we're fishing. We might talk about the the tournaments themselves, but we're not going to give out any information or anything like that. So we'll get that out of the way. Start first.
Matt, why don't we talk about the last tournament? Because I knew it was kind of down to the wire.
Yep.
And the first day was rough, and you kind of clawed your way back in. And I think me and Jared were going to fish Cumberland, and we were he was texting you while I was driving. We were talking about, how things ended up and how it came back around down there at Okeechobee.
Yeah, it was whenever I come into the EQs this season, I felt like I'd fell a little bit short last year, and I told myself this year I had to try to fish to win all of them. And after the first two tournaments, had got a little bit of a cushion in the points and was sitting in the lead, and then kind of let it get back in my head again. I went day one and started doing something that I knew was the thing to do. Like started where I knew that I found it in practice and it was good. And fished it for about an hour and only had one in the box. So I kind of started spinning out a little bit. And I was like, don't have to catch them that good to make the lead. So I started spiraling, trying to go scrap up what I could. And that's really how I messed up on the first day. And I caught myself running around too much. You do that in Florida, it normally costs you. And it's just spent a lot of time running around and needed to just settle down and fish. So that's what I went and done on day two.
Yeah. Man, that's got to be, so much pressure and all of those great fishermen you're against, and you're sitting there in first place, man. I was just so excited for you, seeing all of the press that Bass was putting out, and I was like, yeah, there's Matt on the front again. It's awesome.
Yeah, like some of the photos that Chase Sansom had in Bassmaster stuff. One of the first shots was you there. I don't know where that was. I think it was St. Lawrence, wasn't it? Where
that was at Champlain.
That's so right. Yeah.
Like picture this, just me standing between the waves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool deal. Yeah. So
yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah,
New Champlain was one of my favorite absolute places on the planet to fish. I've only been there one time, but we were there for a week, and the 4 days that we pre-fished, it was just like we were there obviously for the Toyota series, so they don't put you there at bad times, but we went out there and you could throw a spy bait, you could throw a jig, you could throw a tube, you could live scope them, you could throw top water, you could pitch jigs on a dock if you found one and catch fish. It's just like you could absolutely, it's like the bass fisherman's dream.
Yeah, it's a fun place for sure. That's what, like, I got to pre-fish it for about half a day after St. Lawrence. I was already up there, so I was like, just went straight down and got to, like, whenever I say pre-fish, I mean like pre-practice before the cutoff. Got to fish it for like 4 hours was all I had before it was over. And, made it down there and caught like 21 pounds in 4 hours, and then I was pumped.
Holy crap! Yeah.
Get back, and then it did not disappoint at all.
Yeah, Brent Jones wants to know if you killed a big buck this year. He has actually.
Killed a pretty decent one. Yeah, killed one in October in Kentucky, and then West Virginia deer have been cat and mousing me pretty hard. I ain't been able to catch up to them yet.
Yeah, Brent's already got his 2 in, so
Yeah, he got his Kentucky buck in his Ohio. He just killed a wide 8-point yesterday, I think, or day before.
Heck yeah.
So Matt, when you look, I think they've got like the schedule out for next year, right, for the elites. Yep. When you look at that, what are you really looking forward to? What ones really stick out? I mean, it doesn't have to be just one, but which ones stick out to you?
It's going to be a lot different next year because where they made it to where now it's like 4 of them you're not allowed to use any forward-facing sonar, and then the other 5 you are. So I'm really looking forward to the ones that you're not allowed to use it for, just because it's kind of more my style of fishing. I mean, I spent more time this year doing the forward-facing sonar stuff than I ever have, but I'm looking forward to getting to go do a tournament that I can go fish the way I like to do, fish shallow and not worry about what's going on with the forward-facing sonar stuff. But also, it's going to sound kind of weird if anybody's ever followed my track record, but one of the tournaments I'm most excited for is St. Lawrence River. And I've got my teeth kicked in about every time I've ever been there. That's really why I'm excited to go, because I want to just go try to get some redemption, try to conquer that place.
Yeah, I've only been there one time too, but man, like if you've never been there, you don't understand, but there is so much current that comes through that river. Like when you think about, like, if you pull up behind the Greenup Dam or the Meldal locks, or if you go up to the Robert C. Byrd on the Ohio River, you normally feel some, you can tell there's current coming through there, and you could see the white water and all that stuff. But dude, I don't care where you're at on that entire river. It is just like being behind the Greenup Dam, but no whitewater. I mean, you're drifting like 5 mile an hour.
Yeah, it rips down through there. It's definitely a big learning curve trying to get good on that place.
Yeah, well, I didn't get good on it. I got my freaking teeth kicked in like you do. Well, no, so I did and I didn't. We were fishing. I was fishing the Toyota Series as a co-angler. We go up there, pre-fish for a couple days, find some fish. Obviously, it doesn't matter to me because I'm a co-angler. I'm catching somebody else's fish normally. So first day, this guy takes me out in this big flat, and I end up sacking up like 18 and a half pounds of co-angler, which is probably about 55th in points. But I just needed to catch one fish all 3 days, or both 2 days, to make the championship. I had 18 pounds ish. And on the way back, the guy's Mercury motor was low on oil, went into limp mode. We were 19 minutes late. I had 18 pounds, so I was negative 1 pound for the day.
Man. That place is it's a treacherous place running around on too. Whenever that wind's blowing against that current, or even with it, making them long runs out towards the lake, the place gets pretty big.
Yeah, one of the weirdest things was like running through that lock, like going up the lake. Yeah. Like you literally run right through rocks. It's like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that place it's a crazy place. It's like no other place in the world.
Yeah, well, Tyler Williams in the house. What's up, buddy? Yeah, so I guess it goes without saying, but like we won't talk about looking back because you already made it. Looking forward for the next year. I mean, the season kicks off in like February, right?
Yep.
Just to give you guys the Elite Series that he's going to be fishing schedule, February 5th to the 8th at Gunnersville. February 12th to the 15th is Lake Martin in Alabama. Then the Classic, of course, again, he'll have to qualify for that this coming year. March 26th to 29th, Columbia, Mississippi in the Tom Bigby Waterway. April 16th to the 19th in Oklahoma at the Arkansas River. And then May 7th through the 9th is Lake Murray in Columbia, South Carolina. May 14th through the 17th is Santee Cooper. June 11th through the 14th is I never can pronounce these lakes here. Pasquotank River and that is the Admirable Sound.
Yep. Yeah, you got it.
And then Plattsburgh, New York, Champlain, August 13th to the 16th, and then St. Lawrence River, August 27th through the 30th. So you got a smallmouth swing coming up there in the end of it. So looking forward, what do you see as the biggest challenges? And maybe we're not talking about fishing here because you're going to be spending a lot of time away from your family, and obviously there's a money aspect that comes into it. You're probably looking at $30,000 in entry fees plus. What looking forward in the next 12 months? What's some of the biggest hurdles that you feel like that you have to overcome to even be able to fish these things?
The money. I mean, the money is always probably the biggest thing because whenever you get out there and you're paying entry fees, and then you're paying gas getting down there, and then gas in the boat, fishing, food, and lodging, and it's everybody that fishes knows that it's pretty daggone tough to try to go fishing for a week without stuff breaking down and everything. So the money's always kind of the main hurdle, I would say.
Yeah. What other professional league do the guys have to pay to get in? I'm sorry, but I think it's ridiculous. Like, people should be paying to watch you guys. You should not be having to pay. And I know that helps with the payouts and yada yada, whatever. Like, get more sponsors. That's how I feel about it. But
well, I think it comes down to the fact of the amount of people that we think bass fishing rules the world. All three of us. We've thought about bass fishing since we're knee high. Maybe not JR. JR is like fresh into fishing like the last 15 years of his life, but me, I remember waking up on a Saturday watching, all the stuff on Saturday mornings, watching Bill Dance and all these other things. And like, there's this, I don't know, it's just when you spend a lot of time, that much, when you think about that, the amount of people that are watching it is chump change, because when you look at the Super Bowl, like there's like 200 million people or something that see that, right? So that's why they pay like $5 million for a 30-second ad, because they're reaching hundreds of millions of people, where you can watch some of the best produced stuff on the planet that's out there for BASS, whether it be live on FS1 or something that's my favorite thing is watching the Bassmaster Classic after the fact, because they do like a 3-day, 3-week, build up to it. And it's really cool. But I bet you there's probably, I don't know, I'm throwing this number out there, maybe 1 million people that watch that. So it's all about how much money is actually, money gets swung around by how much influence you have. And I think the problem is that even though we see fishing as a huge thing, it's just not that big in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's too many hats. Too many hats. So Joe Broughton asked, "What boat are you going to be fishing out of next year, Matt? If you can answer it, answer it. If you can't, we understand."
Yeah, I'm still getting everything lined out, but I'm thinking I'm going to be back in Phoenix next year.
Yes. I have a PHX. Love the boat.
They're hard to beat.
Oh man, that's great.
So I've run 720 the last 3 years. I've loved it.
Yeah. Which one have you been fishing out of? The 921?
No, I've been running a 721.
721.
Yeah.
A little bit faster, huh?
Yeah, I like it. It's got a little bit more speed, and then I feel like it's not really to bust through the waves, but like you can get in down like the swells and up on top of them and everything real good in it.
I gotcha, man. That's why I went with the PHX, because I was like, I love fishing St. Clair and I want it to be as good as possible. But yeah, I'm definitely, like Tyler said, I started fishing when I was 33 and I just turned 40. So, I've only been fishing for 7 years, and certainly driving a boat has not been part of that. I started out with the kayak too. So it's interesting, all of the kayak fishing stuff that's coming out right now. Man, those guys are good.
Really big.
Yeah. Well, tell us about some of your sponsors, Matt, that you're allowed to talk about. I know Berkeley is definitely, your biggest sponsor that I'm aware of, but, I definitely want you to be able to get a shout out to them and, get you in a good spot there.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a lot of support the last few years to chase this crazy dream all over the road. But one of my big ones I'd like to mention is Neat Companies, and it's a trucking company out of around like the Lake Cumberland area. And they've been a huge help. They stepped up after I won, and met with him, stepped up, and he's been a huge help throughout the last few years. And then obviously Berkeley and Abu, I mean, it's all my rods and reels and baits and everything. I wouldn't ask to use anything else. I mean, they're the top of the line. And then Waterland sunglasses and the Hammerhead sonar. There's a bunch of them that's helped me out.
Yeah, good, man. I mean, it's like we were talking about earlier, it's an expensive sport and you've got to have people to help you. And good Lord, I mean, all the baits that Berkeley have come out with in the past 5 years is just insane. Yeah. Yes, some of them are kind of copycats, but they always throw their own little thing on it, and they've got a lot of originals. I mean, I was talking with somebody about this the other day that, when I started getting into bass fishing, I think Strike King was the biggest name. Now, I think you've got to say Berkeley's ahead of them.
Yeah, Berkeley's, I'm being 100% honest whenever I say it's about like every bait I use is Berkeley. Like it's all my favorite stuff, whatever. That Creature Hog, I love that bait. How many bass I've caught on a Creature Hog.
I love that bait. I was like so upset when they got rid of the Max Scent Creature Hog, right?
No, they still got it.
Wait, is the Creature Hog, is that the thinner one, the thinner creature bait, or is that like a beaver style?
It's like a beaver style.
Okay, I'm mixing up with
some of them. I know there's probably some like right here around me somewhere. I've got Creature Hogs coming out the ears around here.
Yeah, keeps them in his nightstand.
You never know when you're gonna need one, man.
Yeah.
Like me, I got a Shimano Zodius and a Corrado 70 that, it's a 5-piece rod underneath the seat of my truck. You never know when you're going to need one. So, going back to like the mindset and motivation deal, you talked about how Okeechobee, the first day was kind of, really rough for you. I have the hardest time bouncing back from hard days. So how do you mentally reset after a rough day on the water? Like, how do you step back and be like, look, we need to shake this one off and keep going? How do you do that?
Yeah, day one's normally always if you follow any of my tournaments at all and watch me, it's like don't do very good on day one most of the time, and then come back on day two and hopefully make day three. And so it's kind of, I don't know, the nerves and everything blasting off on day one. Now we have an off day, and it's just like you practiced, you haven't got to see how things are going to work out. You had an off day, so it's the whole day one thing. Whenever I do struggle on day one, it gives me like another full day of actually tournament fishing to kind of dial in more of a bite. So I'm normally, at the end of day one, I'm normally always in better shape than I was whenever I started it. But it kind of, I don't know. I've always felt better blasting off on day two, regardless what tournament it is. Go ahead tournaments. I've caught 8 pounds on Lake Fish tournament in Florida, and we had, I think, 9 pounds on day one, maybe, and then caught 27 pounds on day two and made top 10. So kind of, I don't know. We've just always done better on day two.
Cut back kid.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so JR and I were talking about it last week, and it's something maybe you could speak to. I'm still trying to learn fishing, obviously, because I'm nowhere near the level that you are fishing the Elite Series, and that's why I started this show, was just to try to learn from other folks. Like, I fish a lot, and I won't say that I don't. Like, I'm 100 days on the water probably a lot. That would be on a low end usually. Yeah. I didn't fish that much this year. I had a lot of stuff going on, but like this past weekend, we went to, or 2 weekends ago, we went to Lake Cumberland to fish in the Shimano Owners Tournament down there. And the very first day I get there, and I'm flat whacking them on a crankbait, man. I had like 18 pounds on my best 5. Like, you could throw a crankbait in every point that had some rocks on it, and they were just chewing it. Like, it was just, I would go to every point that I could, and they were just eating it. Next day, totally different. They were gone. I spent 4 hours of the morning throwing different crankbaits to no avail. Looking back on it now, I'm like, what was I doing, man? Like, do you find yourself like changing baits very, very often, or are you kind of like me where you just lock one in your hand and I either catch them or I don't?
Well, if I'm like really struggling, whatever, and I don't have much figured out, then it's kind of put whatever I'm confident in and just try to go get some bites doing something somewhere. But one of the things that kind of helped me a lot this year is in the past, I'd always been like pretty reliant on practice, and it's like you go practice, and I would figure out in practice, I'm like, this is what I'm going to do, and then I would go grind it all day and hope it works. And this year, I kind of practiced a lot different. I would more or less, instead of trying to dial something in, I would just try to sample like as many things as I could in practice, and then go in the tournament and just try to dial everything in. So it's like every time I've always found something, it seems like the best it ever is the first time you find it. Like, you get out there, you figure something out, and that day it's awesome, and it just continuously gets worse. So it's one thing I've done this year is kind of just try to keep a clear head and go fishing every day instead of getting too dialed in on something.
Yeah, I think it speaks to like fishing for memory, and it's never good. You go to a lake where you crushed them the year before, you throw the exact same bait in the exact same spots. 90% of the time, you're not going to catch them. Just, for me, anyway. I just, that was my goal for this coming year as an angler, as a YouTuber, basically, is that I want to try to become better at understanding when to switch baits more often. Now, does that mean having 35 rods on my deck? Probably not, right? That's a surefire way to find out if you're really on them. If you look on the deck and there's 35 rods, you might as well just go home. But I'm trying to get a little bit better of trying to figure out how to, switch baits and have a little bit more confidence in a lot more baits as opposed to like a Texas rig and a crankbait.
Yeah.
So this kind of plays into that, Matt. Ed says, what techniques are you strongest and which ones do you need to improve on?
Well, before this year, I would have said the live scope stuff, like the forward face sonar stuff, is what I needed to improve on. Then I spent most of the year this year doing it. But I still think that my strong suit is the going shallow, flipping a jig, throwing a spinnerbait, crankbait, stuff like that early spring stuff. And then in the summer, going shallow and force feeding on a frog or something. But I don't really know. Probably the like offshore stuff that's not just the forward facing sonar stuff, like the schools and stuff like that, is probably what I need to get better at, I would say.
Man, when I go to a new lake, I know the biggest thing that I run into, and being a relatively novice angler, and I'll say that right up front, is I always hesitate on how to find fish, where to go. I mean, we know the normal patterns and spring in the creeks and depending upon water temperature and things like that. But how much do you rely on your electronics, and then how much do you just rely on kind of gut instinct?
I mean, it's kind of depends on the situation, really. I mean, springtime stuff, I'm not really. Electronics is pretty much a chart and water temperature. And then, I mean, obviously, like in the summer and whatever, whenever they back off and fish start to get offshore, then it's a lot more relying on the electronics. Or, I mean, like real early spring, whenever if you show up and water's clear or something, they're out on the bait, kind of just more or less relying on whatever place you're going to. I don't spend as much time idling as a lot of guys do, but I do.
Yeah.
I'm still using like forward facing sonar and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. I feel like I'm like I need a lot more help, a lot more experience at like idling around and making sense out of side scan. I feel like I'm just
So,
not good at it.
Yeah, and so Jared and I, we both went out this weekend on Sunday to Yatesville just to try to learn forward-facing sonar a little bit better. Because I'll be able to tell you right now, like I got a 12-inch Humminbird, or I'm sorry, I got a 12-inch Garmin with an LVS 34, and it's just a really cool looking thing that sits on the front of my boat. Because like I can, there's something frustrating, when you catch a fish or want it, it's very there's a lot of stuff there to give you some hope and pump your dreams up, but there's nothing more frustrating than seeing a fish, dragging a bait by it, and it will run up to that thing and then just go, nope,
Yep.
not interested.
Never mind. Give you the fin.
Yeah, that's right. Give you the fin. That should be a shirt somewhere.
I think this might be, I'm guessing maybe an inside joke on the breakdown of the bubblegum floating worm.
Yeah. I mean, that dude's fished together for a long time. He's been one of my best friends growing up. We caught a lot of bass on a floating worm.
Oh man, I definitely missed the boat on the floating worm. I'm going to try that so much in spring. I feel like I've tried it, and the old weightless trick worm or whatever. I think I might have learned a little bit of tricks of the trade from Chris Ferguson on that. I'm hoping I can take that and play that into things. So
that can be a really fun bait at the right time. Whenever they're doing it, it's fun.
Yeah. Do you throw that on a bait caster, or you normally throw it on?
I would rather throw it on a spinning rod. I've threw it on a bait caster some, and you can do it, but I would feel like I'm more accurate when getting the skip up under stuff and everything.
Right, like overhangs and yeah. So Wendell David Stratton's got a pretty good question here. He says, "What was your approach to day 2 after you had that rough day 1? Did you double down on the area you found in practice, or did you just go fish new water?"
Yeah, well, the situation on Okeechobee was in practice. I found some punching fish, and it wasn't even I found like a specific area to punch. It was just like I could pull up just about anywhere. First day of practice, I got like 35 bites punching. And second day of practice, I got like 25 bites punching, and wasn't setting on most of them, but there were some of them that you could tell like I wouldn't set on them, but I would just kind of pick my rod up into them, and you could feel the weight like they weren't little ones. And then found some fish, like some scoping fish and stuff out in the middle of them canals. And on day 1, we had a code front the day before the tournament, which is what kind of set it up to. It got down to like right at 40, and it was windy and everything changed up a lot, which normally everybody acts like in Florida, it gets cold, fish pull up underneath the mats because the mats hold heat and whatever. So I kind of thought, I started doing the scoping thing on day 1, but then it was in the back of my head eating at me that it got cold and they was probably going to come up to the mats and set up and get up underneath them. So I got up there and started doing the punching thing and struggled bad for the rest of the day. And it was such a long run that I didn't even have enough gas to get back to I had a 112-mile round trip. So I didn't have enough gas to get back to my scoping fish. And then day 2, I went over there and I knew that the punching fish changed a lot. And I just went and dropped the trolling motor on the scoping fish that I had, and I didn't pick it back up for the rest of the day. Fished one spot the entire time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. I'm glad you found them, man. That's something that I'm trying to improve upon. Definitely. Well, I'm gonna try to improve on everything. But I love grass fishing. I think it is so fun. It's so different. And getting into that punching it's a little bit intimidating, but now I'm to the point where I'm just like I'm so excited to when I actually get on a good punching bite, because I swear it's one of those things that I know it's going to happen. I'm pumped.
Yeah, punch and bite. It's probably whenever you get on that, it's like the funnest possible way to catch a bass, I think.
Yeah, man, setting the hook with a freaking board, like I don't know, it's braided line, just hearing your guides creak and crack, knowing that you could break your rod at any given point. I saw
Yeah.
somebody posted a comment from YouTube, and now it's gone. So I'm not sure what that was. If somebody wants to comment back, if you posted, so YouTube and Facebook both have hot button issues that are in there, and if they're in there, that automatically deletes that message. So it wasn't us. If I saw it and then it's gone.
Brandon Ward taught you everything you know about fishing, apparently, Matt.
I heard that.
Oh, Lord.
That's
So
awesome.
we are definitely big Shimano and G Loomis guys. I know you are a big Berkeley Abu guy. So what is your favorite setup, or a couple favorite setups, maybe one spinning, one casting, because we talk about this all the time. We're kind of junkies when it comes to gear.
Yeah, my favorite casting rod, like size and everything, is probably a 7.6 medium heavy Fantasy X with a Xenon X bait caster on it, and then favorite spinning rod, pretty much only one I use. I don't really go different sizes on spinning rods. Is a 7-foot medium Xenon with a Xenon MGX on it.
Yeah, those suckers are light.
Yeah, they are. They feel good. I love them.
Yeah, man, that's the great thing about it. We always have people on here that are from all different walks of life in the realm of gear, and then that's the great thing about fishing is there's a price point for everybody, and there's also gear for everybody, which is crazy. Like I like to say that I have gear acquisition syndrome. Really quick, guys, before we get any further, this episode is brought to you by Hannah Sublett Insurance Broker, protecting your health, securing your future. Give her a call, 740-456-7944. She will be able to hook you up with health and life insurance in the Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio region. She saved my buddy almost $800 a month the other day, which is crazy.
All right, Matt, the classic question, PB bass and what lake?
It's probably going to be smaller than what most people expect, but it is a 810 on mine went blank, on Toledo Bend. Caught it on a spinning rod with 10-pound line on my first cast of the tournament, and then weighed 13 pounds all day.
Oh man, 810. That's a big fish anywhere you go. I don't care. That's something to be proud of. What's your favorite lake, Matt?
It probably has to still be Harris Chain, I would say, just because the success that me and my brother had in college, and then the winning the Open and stuff there. I've had some really special moments go down on that place.
Yeah. Seems like Florida's been pretty good to you.
Yeah, it's always fun in Florida.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I haven't done a lot of research because I've never been to Okeechobee. I know, don't shoot me, but I guess that lake is practically going dry, right?
Yeah, it's the water level. I'm not real sure what it's supposed to be, but everybody was acting like it was really low. But it's Okeechobee's got the name that it's really, really good, and it is good, and it's got big ones and stuff. But it is, from what I've fished, I would say the toughest lake out of the 3 I've fished in Florida, which is Harris Chain, Toho, and then Okeechobee. But it's got big ones, but they are not easy to catch.
I just think that the areas is so vast. It's like just a big flat. There's grass everywhere.
Yeah.
That's because they're getting so many shiners.
Yeah.
Everybody goes down there and shiner fishes.
My thing about it is, like, I was looking at going down there, but like it's a pretty dangerous lake to run too, right? Where it's so shallow.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's a pretty treacherous place, really, and it's so big and just a big old circle, just a big old bowl. So whenever you get some wind coming from the north end or something, well, really any direction, depending on what shoreline you're on, that place gets big, rough, bad.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't think about it being so shallow. I mean, so I don't know much about it, but when I think shallow, I'm thinking like less than 5 foot of water, or is it?
Yeah, like most of the fishable stuff is it's weird because like most of the fishable stuff on that place, the water's so dirty in the middle that, and I'm sure that they live out there, and I'm sure that if you found it, it would be absolutely unreal. Like if you go out there and got on like some shell or something. But most of the fishable water is like all the stuff inside the grass, so it's all like 5 feet, and the grass will filter it, so you can find cleaner water in them areas. But the stuff out there in the middle of the lake, it's dirty enough that like some areas you try to stick your hand in it and can't see your fingers. It's like very dirty out there.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that from, like wind or boat traffic, or is that just like the style of water that's there?
I think it's just where it's so big, and there's always like it's very rarely that it's just dead slick from what I've seen. Anyways, every time I've ever been there, it's at least pretty choppy out there, and then just so much silt and stuff on the bottom of the lake that gets pushed up every time, and nothing to filter it out there.
Yeah. So Wendell Stratton here says, being from the Eastern Kentucky area, what's the best way and lake to learn to use technology effectively? And lastly, what lake are you most excited for the Leets next year? So again, first question is, he's from Eastern Kentucky. What's the best way and lake to learn technology? I guess that would be forward facing sonar, down scan, side scan stuff.
I would say probably Yatesville. And if you're down there and not doing very good on the bass fishing side of things, and you're just struggling and wanting to learn, the biggest thing that helped me learn it whenever I started doing it like 3 or 4 years ago was I would go down there and get on them schools of crappie and just sit there and catch them all day, just trying to learn everything I was looking at and get used to it. And then that's kind of what got me better at just being able to find my bait, get everything, make the right casts, and then move on to the bass fishing side of it. And then lake I'm most excited for on the Leets. Not really. I ain't really sure. There's so many of them that I'm excited to go to, but I mean, we get to go back to Champlain. I'm pretty excited to get back there. I had a good tournament. Don't get used forward facing sonar this time, but it's such a good fishery that seemed like it's just so healthy and stocked. So definitely excited to get back over there.
Sweet guys. The reason I keep running back and forth, I have pies in the oven, so I'll be right back. We'll get those out.
I just don't know how I feel about this pie situation. I don't even know what to say about it. Other than I hope he's baking one for me,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Pies for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good Thanksgiving gift, I think. But
absolutely.
So Ed asks, what is a sleeper bait from Berkeley?
Most of them ain't really sleeper baits just because everybody knows about most of them, but there is one that I've never heard of anybody else using, and I use it with forward facing sonar actually, and it's actually a saltwater bait, and I want to think it's a saltwater. I ain't 100% sure what it's even called. I think it's just saltwater jerk shad. I'm pretty sure, and it's pretty good. It's like a 5-inch minnow fluke style looking bait that I'm putting on the back of the jig head, and it catches them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one, man. Lord, in this minnow field market, it's kind of hard because you can get. I mean, everybody has 3 minnows now. Every major company has at least that many. But it's. Do you think it's more the particular bait or the presentation?
I think presentation's got the biggest thing to do about it, but it definitely also helps too. I think you get one bait and you throw it a lot, and you get, like I play with them out here. We've got a swimming pool behind the house, and I sit out there all the time just using different baits and see what I can get on to do. And I think once you get one that you're comfortable with and know, like whenever you're moving your rod, exactly what it's doing, and you can get it to do what you want to, I think that's the biggest thing, is getting just comfortable with it, starting bait and rolling with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so JR and I obviously are amateurs. I've been told, this is my deal, and I'll get your aspect on it. I've been told that as soon as you let the bait fall past the fish, they'll never bite it. Is that true? Normally, you got to keep it above the fish, and then they come to it. Obviously, they feed up, but I know a fish will feed down on a crankbait. I've seen it happen on live scope. But so why will they not eat that minnow? Just because it's not natural, I guess.
Not real sure why they won't do it, but it is. If you let it get underneath them, it gets. I mean, sometimes you can still catch them. I've had it in situations I'll have them fall on it and can't get them to eat it, so I let it fall by them and then like rip it back up to them and get them to eat it. But majority of the time, if it gets underneath them, they're not about it.
Yeah, like I think the biggest thing for me is, so right now I'm running my live scope at 100 foot out.
Yeah.
I keep it at about 35 foot depth, and I run the gains about 60 to 75, depending on the water clarity. But with that, my biggest thing is that I can't determine, how big a fish is by the spot that's on the screen. Like I can see something, like I was in Cumberland last week and saw fish that were like literally an inch on the screen. I'm like, that's got to be a striper. It's got to be a giant. But like, I hear somebody talking like Brad from Borders the other day was talking about a fellow that he was with fishing the other day, and he could like point him out. And he's like, this fish is bigger than a Tic Tac. It's a 4-pounder or bigger. Like, if it's as big as a Tic Tac on my screen, I'm not even throwing at it. So maybe that's why I'm messing up.
I've messed up doing the same thing. I was at a tournament on Clark's Hill this year for the first open, and I'd fished majority of my tournament day and was not throwing at the bigger dots because that place is chock plumb full of stripers, and wasn't throwing at a bunch of them. Then threw at one of the bigger ones because I hadn't seen any fish in a while. Threw at one of the bigger ones, and it was like a 5.5 pound largemouth. So I was like, I'm messing up. But yeah, it just takes a lot of time looking at it, just spending a lot of time looking at the screen. And the biggest thing, I think, to get used to the size of the fish and stuff is try to just get at a set, like you said, 100 feet out. I'm running mine at 120, so I've got an extra target, but running at 120 and then try to just keep it consistent with like what you keep your depth and stuff at, because every time you change that, it's going to change what the size of everything on the screen looks like. So you're trying to keep it consistent, keep yourself looking at the same thing all the time to try to really dial in what size dots or what.
Yeah, so that was some of the best advice I've had so far, is keeping that, because I didn't have it on auto, but I know some people do the auto depth because it makes it look a lot cooler when you get up closer, like 10, 15 foot. It actually expands to show you everything in there. And then you see a fish, like, oh, there's a fish finally, but you could be looking at a 6-inch bluegill that looks like a 4-pounder on your screen at that point. And that was one of the takeaways for me, is trying to figure out how, to determine, and it's weird that some fish, and maybe their bone structure and how they're actually, they're physiologically put together, but like you can see some fish with their fins actually moving on mine, and then some will just be dots. Like they'll move. You can tell that they're alive, but that's all you get. That's crazy that some of them are different like that.
Yeah, you can tell a big difference in them. Have you caught any of the fish at Yatesville, like the beat up ones down by the dam? Like they're
No, so this week JR and I went out, and I went up in the right branch of Twin Bays there, or Twin Branch, and then I ran up towards the end. I guess not really the end now, but up almost as far as you can go, running up in Blaine, looking for fish in there. Bait fish everywhere. I'm talking like schools as big as this room. Yeah. The one thing that I've ever seen at Gatesville, like I'm not so sure that they actually chase the bait fish there.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that seems like they just live out there and just don't. I mean, I'm sure that they do eat bait whenever it gets around them and stuff, but there's a lot of them just sit out there suspended and just don't move. Just sit out there and float.
Yeah, and it's so tough for me to focus in and be like, okay, is this a fish? And especially like right now, because you could be looking at a big giant maple leaf floating in the water. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, it's pretty crazy. Ricky says, what's your goal or expectation for your rookie year on the Bassmaster Elite Series? And a huge congratulations for your success.
Yeah, I appreciate it, first off. And then, my goal and expectations are, I want to just get in there and try to get used to the new format of half scope and half knot, and just try to get used to that. And then really try to put the whole Elite Series thing and stuff out of my head, and just try to calm down and fish. Just go fishing. Try to catch as many bass as I can.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the goal. You know, I mean, obviously that's everybody's goal every tournament when you go out there. You know, you just got to keep your head down and do what you know you can do. Obviously, you've already, you know, you've hung with these guys, you've beat a lot of them. You know, you've done what you set out to do so far. You know, so what's going to stop you from now? You know, I can see it a year from now. We're, you know, interviewing you for your second Bassmaster Classic, you know, appearance, and you know that's not too far off. I don't think, especially a lot of the lakes that they have kind of feeds into the way you like fishing anyway, the shallower stuff, and then the stuff that's up north, those smallmouth swings, you know, you've been to before, and you have a decent idea of how you're going to accomplish it. You know, I think getting that first couple of tournaments under your belt, as you know, it's never going to be easier. You know what I mean? From an outside perspective, it's never going to get easier to prepare for these tournaments. If anything else, is going to get harder for you, I think, because you know you're going to be, you know, you're now in the spotlight. You know, it's not like you're chasing that dream. Like, here we are, we got to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a big deal for me too. I think if I can just keep my head in the game, whatever, kind of put everything else aside, other than just bass fishing for the first 2 tournaments, then I'll get a lot more comfortable with just being there, and I won't be showing up to blast off and looking around like I'm looking at all my heroes.
Well, who's going to make you the most starstruck, Matt?
I've got to fish against a bunch of them, but it's still, I mean, it's crazy when you pull up to the ramp and Brandon Polnick's backing down the boat ramp beside you, and Mike Iaconelli's over in the water and back in. He's talking to you about practice, and it's just, I mean, it's going to be crazy for all that stuff happening.
Yeah, I mean that would be the hardest thing for me to take in, is like, you know, I'd try to want to be that cool guy, because like at this point you are one of those guys. I know it'd be tough to, like, you know, put yourself in that perspective. It's like me with some of the folks I work with as teachers. Like, they were my teachers, you know, previous, and then now I'm working with some of them. So it's really tough for me to get out of that mentality that these aren't my teachers. I still have a ton of respect for those people, but like I am now, like, in that, and not,
they're equals.
right. Yeah. So I mean, you know, they're no different than you are, other than they've had a little bit, they're a little longer in the tooth.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you get off the water. Do you camp for practice and things?
No, I had, in the opens, there was 5 of us that traveled around together all year, and we would get Airbnbs. So it was nice to have other people traveling with, just because, like, the boys I was traveling with, Hayden Gaddis, Bo Thomas, Lucas Murphy, and TJ McKenzie, they're all people that I've fished against, 3 of them all the way through college and stuff. And then Lucas, I've traveled with him for opens now for the last 3 years. So it's people I can trust. We're going back to Airbnbs and eating dinner real quick, talking fishing, bouncing some ideas, and then going to sleep and getting ready to get back at it.
Yeah, funny you mentioned Bo. I met Bo several years ago. He was actually part of a pro staff that I was on, Angler. I was a fishing at, but he's big in the Shimano and G Loomis, so we've stayed in touch for a while. He's a great dude.
Yeah, I've traveled with him for the last 3 years. Me and Bo's been all over the place together now.
You have any odd superstitions for tournament days or routines?
Always jamming ramp music whenever I pull in, and then I mean, if I'm catching them, won't cut my hair, won't shave my face, nothing like that, until I have a bad day, and then it's time to chop it back off, get it short again, and restart.
Yeah, no bananas in the boat.
Yeah.
I'm crazy about my hat, man. Like, if I have a bad
wore
day,
this hat just about every tournament this year.
If I have a bad day, that hat's going in the locker, man. I got to try a different one.
Dude, I feel that way about my Borders hat, which sucks because I love it. But I've been out the last 4 times and got my freaking rear end kicked. Like, my teeth are like back in my throat somewhere. So now that you made the Bassmaster Elite Series, how has it changed your day-to-day life since then? It's only been a couple weeks, but you know, obviously we're small fish in the seas, but like, how's it changed? You know, have you had companies reach out to you? Like, it's probably a whole new world.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had some companies reach out and stuff, and then got a few deals in the works that don't really have much set in stone yet. But stuff's got busy. It's kind of, bass fishing's kind of been turned into half of a job, and it's super fun. Been happy to be doing it, but I don't really know because I haven't started the fishing thing and everything yet. But yeah, super excited for just. I mean, I've been busy as I can be and loving every second of it.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, because it's right now. I mean, we're 6 days from December here, and you start practicing probably mid-February. So like you got like 2 months here to like really get stuff going, get your boat set up, get everything up and ready to rock and roll, and like build a game plan for the year and set up all those Airbnb stuff that you got going on. Like there, it's like it seems like it's a full-time job for you. You know, maybe your family or stuff help you out a little bit, but man, I tell you what, that'd be a lot of information to take in. Not only having to worry about going to places and finding fish and catching them. I feel like that would be the easiest part of the whole scenario is like getting there and making sure all your stuff's in order and, you know, knowing what to take. Obviously you can't take 1,000 pound of gear with you and like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to be smallmouth fishing this week or whatever. You know, it's just, there's a lot of stuff there. Like, I don't know. I think that would be the hardest part, but it's a full-time job. And almost like you have to hire an assistant.
Yeah, absolutely. The preparation is just as big, if not bigger, than the practice right before the tournament and everything. There's a lot that goes into it. A lot of sitting here researching lakes and then in a crunch to getting rid of my boat, getting another one, and just, I mean, everything. Graphs and sponsors and baits, trying to stay on top of the new stuff. And it's just, there's a lot behind it.
Because Ed asks, do you have a YouTube channel?
I do have one, but I haven't posted anything on it in like 2 years. I posted some college tournaments, and then I always go try to video the opens, then something happens and I forget about it or something. But I'm going to try to start. I'm going to try to get everything next year.
Yeah, because I mean, it seems like this year will be a little easier because you're going to have to record all the tournaments anyway, right? Isn't that a requirement?
Yep.
So I mean, I know there's people out there like
Zaldane. That's exactly what I was thinking about, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean him, but I was thinking like there's people out there that, man, I'm fried right now. I've worked all day and I'm trying to think of the fellow's name, but he is big into the bass fishing side of things where he goes and like transfers cards for people and edits their videos and stuff for them, and like it's like a full-time job for him too. But it seems like it would be, you know, it's. And as Jared kind of alluded to, kind of piggyback off what he says, it's weird that you have to continue to have like 58 irons in the fire to even have enough money to even do what you're trying to do, even though you've made it to the highest level that somebody can actually fish in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot behind it. I'm definitely going to try to do the YouTube thing pretty hard this year. I videoed all the EQs, but it was kind of like I get out there fishing and forget I even have a camera. So like I catch one and I don't show the camera to it or nothing. It'd just be videos of me strictly just catching fish, throwing them in a live well, not talking. So I probably wasn't going to make nothing on them. But yeah, I plan on trying to do something for every tournament next year.
Man, when we had Zaldane on here, he was saying that he basically had a guy that he hired to do all of that for him.
Yeah.
And man, that's got to be a lot of money to get somebody to do that, you know?
Yeah, that's how a lot of the guys are doing it now. They'll have a guy, I mean, they follow them around every tournament, even like on tournament days, they're in another boat, following them around, videoing them and everything. And it's a lot behind all that YouTube stuff.
Yeah, it just hit me. The dude's name I was talking about, his name's Ben Nowak. He's from up northern Ohio, Pennsylvania area, but he does that for a lot of people.
Yeah, I know of him.
I met him 100 years ago. Him and Tyler Anderson, who, you know, there's a pile of YouTubers out there that we all got together for this like retreat for a sponsorship way, like we're talking 10 years ago. But man, we had an absolute ball. We were playing music and I don't know, Gene Jensen was there. There was, you know, I was a very small fish in a very big pond at that point. There's like 20 million followers in the group of people that were there, and I had like 6,000 of them. Good stuff, guys. We're about 50 minutes in. If you guys want to ask some questions here to Matt, if not, we'll let him get off here in just a second. Obviously, man, like I said, it goes without saying, and I know that you've heard it a million times, but I could imagine being in your shoes under the fact that I'm going to be hoping to push for you and watching you on TV and as much as I can. And obviously, if there's anything we can do for you, reach out. We may not be able to do much, but we'll see what we can do. Maybe talk to some of the folks that help us out that doesn't interfere with your sponsors. Maybe get you some cash thrown around. Maybe help this, along. But congratulations on making what I think is the pinnacle of bass fishing, and that's the Bassmaster Elite Series. Like, you're there. It's now the real work starts, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. It's been a long time chasing this dream, and it feels good to make it.
Yeah, for sure.
Now that you're on here for the second time, I mean, I'm hoping you would offer this, but is it too much to ask to get an On Another Line sticker on your jersey? Would that be okay?
Yeah, I'll throw one on there.
Just kidding, man.
So Wendell says, one piece of advice for YouTube for the elites is to upload within a week of the tournament, even if it leads to crude editing. A lot of the elite guys wait like a month to upload and intrigue you what you're thinking, the moment's gone. Well, so, and that comes in, I think, of the situation. Those guys that are posting a month later probably are the guys that don't have anybody doing that for them in the background. They're sitting in a camper shell of a Chevy 1500 with a generator running their laptop, knocking this thing out, and then they got to go to Walmart or go to the nearest Starbucks to use their Wi-Fi to upload it. And like, I think that, I can speak to this because that's one of the few things I feel like that I'm, professional enough to talk about, and that's video editing and photography and things. Like, I don't think people really understand how much time it takes to edit a full-length video. Like today, I'm releasing a video tomorrow, the first one I've released in a couple months. And it's only like 17 minutes long, start to finish. But I have 2.5 hours in editing that thing. And that's me. That's something that I do practically every day of my life. I teach it as a high school teacher. It's just me being nitpicky. But it took me 2.5 hours to put a 17-minute video out there. And when you're out there trying to pre-fish and again, make sure your boat's running fine. Make sure you got air in your tires. Are we going to eat tonight? Where are we staying at? Who's being with us? Where we're going next. Like, I think that's a forethought, or it's a hindsight for a lot of folks. So, I think that would be awesome if everybody could do that. But in the grand scheme of things, it's like, and like Polinek, he's got somebody that follows him around in another boat.
Yeah. A lot of respect for all the guys that do the YouTube thing. There's a lot of work behind that.
Yep. Strix Marine there says, good luck. Remember where you came from. You'll do awesome. I always said, man, if you can catch them around here, you can catch them anywhere. And it's proven a fact. I mean, you got Matt here whacking them. He's on the Elite Series. There's just so many. Cameron Dial goes and freaking dominates too. Like, it just seems like that, if you can catch a fish here, it gives you an advantage somewhere else where there's actually fish to be caught.
Yeah, absolutely. Growing up around here, it teaches you how to grind, and you're always having to try to find the best thing on the lake all the time. So it helps you out whenever you go to other places.
Dude, I just saw that Blaine was here. Blaine was the guy that we had on last time with him. Yeah. It's going to be good, guys, man. I can't wait to watch you. Obviously, like I said, don't know what we can offer, but if there's ever a time where I'm off all summer, so if you need something, let me know. We can maybe help you out for sure. But obviously, won't put you in that situation to ruin anything you got going on. But obviously, we're a phone call away. If you need something, let us know. We'll definitely help you out as much as possible, man. So congratulations, and hope you go out there and just freaking sack them up. I hope it's like, all that you've dreamed of and more, and it just becomes easy, and you just go out there and give free lip piercings to largemouth bass.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope so. I appreciate it, and I appreciate y'all having me for sure.
Yeah. It's all good.
Anytime, man. We're always happy to have you on, and happy to get some of the wisdom you impart, and just anything we can do to support you. I mean, I know it's not a big stage, but if you get real nervous and you start having blood pressure problems, I'm your man. I can help you there. But
I would just tell you, just drink a beer. That would be a terrible idea, but that would be my remedy. Jared probably got some drugs for you. I'm just like, beer.
I got quite a few there for you, man.
Yeah. So, guys, again, Matt, appreciate you coming on and being with us. Good luck this year. Hope you guys will get out there and whack them. If you guys could, here's a shout out, guys. If you guys have any businesses or stuff that you're with and you want to get some stuff, he's obviously looking for sponsors. There's never an Elite Series angler that's not looking for sponsors. So if you want to, and it's it's a tax break. Let's call it what it is. It's advertisement for your business, so you can write that stuff off if you have a big enough business. So that's there for you. But thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. And, we'll get you back on. We'll pencil you in sometime around January of next year to talk about the Bassmaster Classic 2026 or 2027.
Absolutely. That's the plan. I appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah. So, guys, we'll see you next time, next Tuesday. I'm going to try to get a couple more people on next week. So we'll be pushing some information out about that. But until next time, guys, you know what to do. If you can, get out there and lean on. We'll see you next time on Another Line.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of On Another Line Live. We truly appreciate your support, and we couldn't do it without all the amazing folks at home watching week after week. A big thank you goes out to our sponsors, who help make this show possible. Malone's Marine, Borders Sporting Goods, Solar Bat Sunglasses, Picasso Lures, Shimano, and Columbia Sportswear. Their partnership allows us to keep bringing you the content you love. We'll see you next time on Another Line. Until then, get out there and lean on them.